The Baskerville family's hound, named Van Baskerville, was the most loyal hound to his family and his father, but was betrayed and framed by them for connecting with the demon clan and was killed by them. Before his execution, he decided if he ever get to live again, he will get his revenge. After that, he opened his eyes and doesn't understand where he is, but his body feels heavy. He thinks he is in hell, as in the grand estate odd Baskerville family. All the children are gathered into their beds, and all of them are crying. Then this man named Patriarch Hugo Lev from Baskerville family comes in, as he walks around the children and says that there aren't any special kids here, and there is only trash are gathered here. Then he sees Van, and says this one is quieter than the other kids. He tells his workers to move the children to the cradle of swords. Van knows that the main culprit for his framing and execution in his previous life was this man, Hugo Le. He is certain now that he has lapsed back to when he was a baby, as in his previous life he lived as a hound, who was born in an illegitimate family and received really hard training in a poor environment. As hounds devote their lives to the missions, they take care of all kinds of dirty work, and everything is done to make Baskerville the best of the 7 families. He was loyal to his family to get acknowledged by them and also from Hugo. 10 years ago, when the demonic realm was opened, the fight between humans and demons was won by humans, and the reward given to the loyal hound was that they were taken down. The only reason he was executed was that the hound knew too much. He will never live like that again. He wants to take his revenge but can't do anything with his newborn baby's body. As he needs to get stronger to get his revenge, getting moved to the Cradle of Swords will be a good opportunity for him to get stronger. Cradle of Sword is a place where the children born into the Baskerville family have to go through this trail. The children get thrown into a maze of swords, and after going through that, they go to the Styx River, where they get examined for their talent. This Styx River is a legendary river that turns the bodies of children into iron, but there is a limit to how much it can affect the children. This is how they know their talent. For them to get to the river, they need to go through the wall of blades. Van comes out of them, as he thinks in his previous life he and his sibling couldn't receive this effect, but this time he will get it done. Then he jumps into the river and tries to stay there as long as possible, as the water is getting into his body through his cuts. He then says he has to endure this as long as possible. Outside, everyone is surprised to see this, and they think he will die if he stays underwater any longer. They need to get him out. Hugo is loving this. He asked his butler how much time has passed since he got in the river. He says 7 minutes. Hugo thinks he might die and asks him to get out. Van goes that he will not come out this easily as he needs to absorb as much as he can till the end, but he couldn't hold any longer as he was going to drown. But Hugo pulls him out and says, "Look at this kid." Hugo asks for the name of this child, and his butler tells him it's Van Baskerville. Hugo gets excited as he thinks a greedy son for power has been born. Van says, "Enjoy this time, Hugo, as much as you can." Van needs to grow stronger and sharpen his skills silently, and when the time comes, he will kill his masters and the Baskerville family will vanish in history at his hands. Van was Hugo's illegitimate son. At the age of 8 years old, he was really talented, and everyone called him a genius, but he was ordinary in his family. At 20 years old, he took on missions like assassinations and conquests. At 29 years of age, he felt he had reached his limit in swordsmanship compared to the direct lineage. At 30 years old, the gate of the demonic realm opens and the demon invasion begins. At 35, he suffers through the era of destruction and bloodshed of monsters left and right. At 39, the war ends and humans win. And at 40, for his loyalty, he is rewarded with defamation and false accusations and killed him. Van wakes up and finds himself in a nursery, which means he has successfully absorbed the Styx River. He starts to crawl out of his bed, and then a lady comes in with a box saying why Madam wants to give this present and puts it on his bed. In the box there are 2 deadly mambas. Van thinks someone sent these snakes to assassinate him. As there are only a few people who are called madams, they must have wanted to reduce the competition. The mambas attack him, but Van grabs them with both hands and says he will bring down this entire Baskerville family with these 2 hands and kill these snakes. The next day, workers are shocked to see that, as they see Van sleeping peacefully with dead vipers next to him. 2 officers come in and say that the workers who were working that night shift were executed, but the reason for the viper's appearance is unknown. But this young hound only knew the truth about what happened that night. After that, 8 years later, students were in a class where they were taught about the levels of swordsmanship. If you cannot yet defuse your mana with a sword, you are considered a sword beginner, and if you can infuse it, you are called a sword expert. But when your blade emits mana in liquid form, you are called a sword graduate. Last but not least, the form where the aura is solid and can freely be changed is called the sword master. The strongest of the Baskerville family is Sir Hugo, who is at the level. Van thinks Hugo was already a sword master, as he needs to regain his powers before the coming-of-age ceremony. He lost himself in his thoughts, thinking how many years he needs to kill Hugo. 3 students push him to the corner and ask him if they have heard some rumors about him, as he sat in the Styx River for 7 minutes and killed 2 vipers when he was a baby. Van knows about these 3 as they were the ones who stabbed him during defamation when he was running. They are known as Hugo le Baskerville's Trident. Van thinks he needs to pit them in their place, as they will be a real pain for him in the next 10 years. He points a dagger towards him and tells him that if they stay in the Styx River for 6 minutes, their bodies become steel, and if they stab him, it wouldn't hurt him. One brother comes from behind and puts his hand on his to stop him from breathing and sees if he can truly hold his breath for 7 minutes. And if he does, he will eat his own hand. Van gets along with them, and 1 minute later he is still holding up. They ask him to let him go, then suddenly Van bites his hand. They ask him what he is doing, and he tells them they said he would eat his hand. They tell Van they are not scared, but the third brother says he is and starts crying. As they were about to leave, Van told them where they thought they were going. One brother pulled a dagger and hit Van in the stomach, but Van's body really had become iron. He grabbed his hand and told them to keep playing till the very end with a senile look on his face. They get scared and think the rumors are actually true. Then Van punches him in the face. The other 2 brothers are shocked to see their brother lying on the floor. The next one comes in and Van throws a kick, and they fall down crying. He tells them not to be scared of him, and they will get better soon after they get treated by the priest. But he won't let them leave this room and picks up their dagger and tells them he will be generous today and will let one of you leave right now, but which brother will leave they have to decide by themselves. He throws the dagger towards them and tells them to choose quickly as one of you should get to live. They started looking at each other with killing looks, and Van thinks that the Triton of Baskerville is going to split now. At the office, the butler is giving the report to the patriarch about the bloody situation with the Moore clan in the ruby mines, as they are claiming this mine is their territory. The patriarch tells him an opportunity will come to discuss that matter if there is anything else. He tells him Van has scored the highest marks in the written exam. Hugo is happy to hear this, and another matter he has to inform him of is that recently there has been a big fight among the young masters. Hugo asks him how many have died. The butler tells him there are no casualties, but the Master Hybero's teeth are completely damaged, Mid-Libero's jaw has been smashed in, and lastly, Master Mobero's left index finger has been cut off, as they have recovered their health since being treated by the priest, but the psychological damage done seems really significant. Hygo tells him they wouldn't fight among themselves as they are so close to each other, but the butler tells him the person who did this to them is the young Master Van, the one who scored the highest score in the written exam. Hugo is shocked to hear this. They call Vicar in the room, and Hugo tells him he has grown a lot. It's been a while since they saw each other. Hugo asks him about the incident, and he tells him they are fine as they were recovered by the priest. Hugo tells him he is not talking about physical damage. He is talking about the damage he caused to their relationship. Since that day, they have been eating separately and acting like they don't know each other, as their combination trick was quite unique, but you have completely torn their relationship apart. Hugo tells him, "Don't you think this was wrong?" Van tells Hugo, "How can a strong person be wrong?" with a sinister look on his face. Hugo tells him that his brother came in ahead of him and said that they would forgive him, yet you don't feel an ounce of guilt at all. Van tells him they forgave him. Van thinks of a memory before his regression. The youngest daughter of a family who was ruined by the Baskerville Clan comes to Hugo and tells him that she forgives him and offers a mass. Hugo's response to her after the mass was that he believes that forgiveness is just an excuse for the weak who cannot seek revenge due to the lack of their strength, and only the strong will reign supreme as weakness is a sin. Hugo tells him he understands the family motto very well. Hugo tells Barrymore, his butler, to let the kid have any snack he wants from the food storage. Van asks if he will have a chocolate then, and as he is leaving, Hugo calls him, "Listen, my son, try to do well in the interim evaluation and don't lose to the direct descendants. Van will give you an annoyed look if you say yes, Lord." He takes him to the storage where they store the best quality chocolates. He tells him he doesn't want anything that's processed, he needs only the beans, which have a rich aroma. They are shocked to hear this, and they give him the beans. Van thinks to himself that he must love chocolates. He tells them there is no need to process them. He will take them as they are. Butler thinks he has the peculiar taste. Van will use these bloody beans during the practical exams, which are in 5 days. On that day, he will cause a catastrophe that has never happened in the Baskerville clan before. In this world of the Baskerville family, referred to as the Berserker family, they put their children through an early education. When they are able to take their first steps, they run up a steep mountain for their basic stamina, and when it's time for their sleep to adjust to tough environments, they sleep with a monster corpse. After that, they are 8 years old, and these young hounds are ready to start their deadly evaluation. That's why this family is called the Berserker family. Today is the practical evaluation and survival exam. They are all gathered at the mountain as their instructor, named Shadow Dog, tells them that they need to survive a month here in these mountains and need to hunt strong and large mountain lions. The points for surviving the exam are 10 points, and if they survive without becoming disabled, then it's 30 points. If they fail other young hounds and survive, then it's 50 points, and if they survive after defeating a monster, then it's 70 points. And lastly, if they fulfill all the conditions listed above, they will get 90 points. Additionally, if they steal the badge of another hound, they will receive their points as well. If they die here, they will receive 0 points, as there are no 100 points here. He advises them not to exit the designated area, as this Nora Mountain is a restricted area with many undiscovered things, and tells them to move within the subjected area because during the exam, shadow dogs will be hiding and grading you. Students see Van, as the rumors say he stayed in the Styx River for 7 minutes and also killed vipers. Having received full marks in theory exams, they will see if he is any good during this practical exam. Van thinks it's been a while since he's been to this mountain. The instructor tells them that at the sound of the bell, their exam will begin as they all start running and occupy the advantageous area for themselves. The instructor says so, it has begun. As in this exam, killing each other is not encouraged, but it is not prohibited. If they kill someone, it will reduce their points, so everyone tries not to kill each other. Van goes to that area, and the shadow dog sees him. He thinks he might be a genius in disguise since childhood, and he is looking forward to seeing what he does in this exam. Van goes under a tree and thinks this will be a great spot for him. Now that he has decided where he will be living, he says he should relax and take a break. Shadow Dog is surprised to hear him as he is going to take a break, as other students are fighting with monsters and other students, but Van is just relaxing. Shadow Dog is unimpressed seeing him only relax for a few days, as he only hunts for food or gathers equipment. He thinks rumors about him being a genius might be fake, and the Shadow Dog thinks he is going to hide, so there is no need to observe him, so he leaves. Van senses him leaving as he planned. Camping outside reminds him of the old days. He says now that the one interfering with this plan is gone, he shall start his hunt now. After a few days, Van goes into the restricted area, as during his soldier days this area wasn't restricted. Then he sees the burned roots of the tree, and he is sure that must be a hellhound. In his scouting days, he found them annoying, but seeing him now makes him happy. These are the lookout monsters who swallowed the hellfires. Van was barely able to take down one hound alone at the age of 18 in his past life. However, now he knows a way where a child can take down a hellhound. As he charges towards him, hellhounds' first weakness is that they can only move in straight lines. It's difficult for them to change directions quickly. Their second weakness is that they can't stand against water. Even if it's a small amount, it slows them drastically. Hellhound charges onto Van with his mouth open. Van throws a seed in this mouth, which makes him fall down as this chocolate is poison for them. And when it comes to bloody beans with a rich aroma, it can paralyze these dogs instantly. Van says even the hellhound can defeat chocolate. He attacks his kidney and kills the dog. When they catch monsters, an energy like XP flows into their bodies, making them stronger. Now that Van's sword feels lighter than before, he thinks he will be able to catch up to where he was before his regression. He gets happy thinking about what kind of face Hugo will make when a kid brings the body of B+ rank, and he has also decided on the reward he wants, a biggest reward, which he has never dreamed of asking for in his past life. As he was about to take his head, other hellhounds came back, as they must have heard the screams of this one. He cuts his head off and says he will kill them too as he has a lot of beans left, but the dog gets scared and doesn't move an inch with their heads down. Van thinks these dogs never get scared. Then he looks back and sees a 3-headed dog named Cerberus with blue flames coming out of his mouth.